His name is Octaviano Hartanto, place of birthday, October 15, 1998. He has worked as an expert staff to the Agency Advocacy Department Student Executive Chemistry Education Study Program, Jakarta State University, December 2017 until January 2020. There are a lot of achievements he has achieved. They are became outstanding student in chemistry education study program in 2020, International Conference Regional Delegation on Student Activism Rekonsa at Petronas University of Technology Malaysia in 2019. Participants of the Indonesia Smart Olympics or OIC Season 4 in Rajawali Television in 2017. You can contact him through his email octavianohartanto@gmail.com. To Mr. Okta is welcome.
Ya, oke. Terima kasih kepada Ferdi. Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Apa kabar semuanya?
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam
Iya.
warahmatullahi
Wah, rame nih ya, udah 125 sama saya 126. Kayak antusias banget sambil nunggu Prof Dev-nya belum masuk sepertinya. Kita lihat coba. Oh ya, belum. Seperti yang sudah dijelaskan oleh host dari Zoom, nanti di akhir meeting ada sesi tanya jawab yang bisa diajuin ke Profesor Dev-nya. Nanti silahkan konfirmasi dulu lewat chat mau siapa yang ingin bertanya. Nanti sebutkan nama, institusi, dan pertanyaannya. Jadi nanti kamu tuh angkat tangan dulu atau notice lah kalau saya tuh pengen nanya, baru nanti dipilih sama moderatornya. Nah, nanti kalau misalnya kamu bersedia buat tampil kamera itu lebih baik, nanti silahkan di show up aja biar mukanya kelihatan. Terus nanti kalau misalnya mau pakai suara juga nggak apa-apa. Atau mau di typing juga nggak apa-apa. Oke, kita tunggu Profesor Dev-nya aja ya. Stay tune.
Siap, Kakak.
Is anyone there?
Okay. Good morning, Professor Dave.
Good morning. Well, good evening for me.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for the time. Actually, I still cannot believe that I am with Professor Dave Farina right now. Nice to see you, Prof.
Yeah, no, great to be here.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. Happy to do it.
An extraordinary opportunity can be here. Okay. Before we start these short conversations, I would like to introduce myself first. I am Octaviano Hartanto, but you can also call me Octa from Chemistry
Octa.
Education Program, Chemistry Major 2017.
Great.
Yes. So I, as the moderator, will guide this great event today. Professor De Farina is a science communicator, freelance content creator, education consultant, science instructor, podcaster, and general spreader of knowledge. He is
You got
widely
that from my
known.
resume. Yeah.
He is widely known from his YouTube channel named Professor Dave Explain.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's my main bag. Yeah.
Big round of applause for you. My God. How are you, Prof? Are you good today?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, I think we're all dealing with the virus and the quarantine and everything. So, I've been at home, not really focusing on work and doing pretty much nothing else for the past couple of months. But yeah, very good. I've been working on the channel. I wrote a book that it will come out later this year. Just really pretty much doing nothing but work all day long every day. But yeah.
Always, oh yes, always. All
Mhm.
right. Do you want to know one fact about us? I mean, chemistry, biology, math, and physics student at State University of Jakarta. Before we face the exam tomorrow, we will definitely watch your video at the night before or even in the morning.
Sounds great. Yeah, no, good luck to everybody. And yeah, I'd love to know more about Jakarta. I've never been to Indonesia, but I'd love to visit one day. Jakarta is the capital, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'd love to know more about it one day. Yeah.
I hope one day we can meet at Jakarta.
Yeah, no, it would be really tremendous if one day I could do some kind of a speaking tour and go to Indonesia and India and the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
I actually think that it is the case that India, the Philippines, and Indonesia are the three countries that watch my videos the most after America.
Oh, wow.
So actually, I think it would be really great. It would be really fun if I could visit all these countries. I would love to meet everybody there and yeah, visit these incredible places and learn the culture. Learn, I love to travel. I love to try new foods and meet new people.
Oh, you like to traveling around the world?
I do. I mean, I haven't been to that many places. I mainly have traveled a lot in Europe, but I've never been to Asia, anywhere in Asia.
Oh, yes.
So I really would like to someday. Yeah.
Okay. See you. Your videos, in my opinion, are very interesting, easy to be understanding, brief, and very clear. I really appreciate and like how you to explain our lessons. Animated images that are also displayed make us easier to imagine the chemical molecule, for example, that seem abstract to be more make sense.
Yeah, that's the idea. I try very hard to use words and images and explain it in as simple a way as possible. So yeah, that's definitely my goal.
Yes, I like the simple way.
Yeah.
Okay, let me represent all my friends in the Faculty of Mathematics and Science at State University of Jakarta, of course, to say thank you for your videos content that is very useful for us. So after I read your CV, you are professor in organic chemistry and general chemistry from Southern California University of Health Science, right?
I taught there from 2010 to 2013. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been a freelance science communicator for 5 years now. So it's been a long time since I've even had a job of any kind. But yeah, that was where I got my start. I taught organic chemistry at the Southern California University of Health Sciences, which is basically just a small trade university. Nothing terribly special, but it was the first time that I got to lecture organic chemistry concepts to a fairly large classroom, about 50 students, and I did that for several years. So that was where I became good at explaining organic chemistry concepts, and that was actually the basis for my channel when I started Professor Dave Explains, which is just the name of my YouTube channel. I delivered my organic chemistry lectures to camera. I really just took what I had done in the classroom and I just did it in front of the camera. So that was the first thing I did before I started animating and doing these more involved things. But yes, organic chemistry, teaching organic chemistry was how I got started with this. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Wow, amazing. A lecture.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss lecturing a little bit. It is fun. It is fun to speak to a classroom of students. However, I love also creating content that millions of people can watch. You know what I mean? Instead of lecturing to 50 students, I can create content and then everybody all over the world in Indonesia or in Brazil or in Sweden or wherever can watch it and benefit if it is helpful to them. So, yeah.
All right. So, what motivates you to open a YouTube channel named Professor Dave Explain in the first place?
Well, if to be honest, at first I was just very interested in passive income. At the time, I was in a band, and the band was touring around the country playing shows, and we all wanted to figure out a way to make passive income. In other words, a way to do a bunch of work and then income comes in slowly over time without working, which is how YouTube works. I get paid every month from YouTube based on who views the videos that I made years ago. Um, and so that was the reason I started the channel. But then the channel began to grow in popularity, and I began to realize that this was actually kind of more my calling, so to speak. And so I became very invested in growing the channel. I wanted to make as much content as quickly as possible on as many subjects as possible. And so, yeah, it was around the middle of 2016 where I just decided, you know what, this is it. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to work on this channel just as hard as I can until it leads me to somewhere that I want to be.
Yes.
So,
We acknowledge that you have 805K subscribers on your YouTube channel.
That's
How
right.
do you
Yeah.
feel about this and become trending worldwide? Did you expect it to be this viral and useful for many students like us?
No, not at first. Not at first. At first, it was literally just the organic chemistry lectures, and I thought maybe some people will benefit from them, and that would be great. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, at first, no, I did not expect it at all. So that part was a pleasant surprise. Yeah, yeah. After a certain point, I'd say after I got to about maybe 50,000 subscribers, then I started to realize the potential for the channel, and then I did start to think way ahead and start to think about potentially getting to 1 million subscribers and that level. But it wasn't immediately. It was after about a year and a half that I thought, okay, this has some potential here to be a career, you know.
That's right. Need progress to build some bigger subscribers on YouTube channels.
Yeah.
So, any ups and downs being a creator of science content? Can you tell us up and down?
Well, I mean, the difficult thing is that I do everything by myself, so it's a lot of work. Then the plus side of that is that I don't have to share the money. So I mean, it gets to be my vision. I make the content. I make it exactly the way I want it, and I get to be the sole owner of the business. I turned it into a corporation, Professor Dave Explains Incorporated, and I'm the sole owner. I'm the only person in the company. It's just me. So there are other channels that are bigger that get a lot more views, but they have sort of a team of animators and they have a team of people that they have to pay out. And so I move a little more slowly than they do, but I like that it gets to be my unique vision and I don't have to sort of, consult anyone else with it. I can do whatever I want.
You are really start from zero to hero.
Yeah, from nothing, self-made.
From nothing, yeah. From nothing
Yeah.
be something.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
Great. Many of viewers often comment on your videos saying that they learn things more from your channel rather than their real life. How do you respond to these comments, and how do you think a professor or a lecturer should be like in front of the public?
Well, obviously, I'm very flattered when people say that my content has been very effective for them. I mean, I think that there are a lot of instructors out there, and there's a wide range of skill in terms of, some are more effective than others. And if a particular way that I have explained a topic is very effective, I'm very happy that a student can learn it from my explanation. I also hope that other instructors can learn a more effective way of explaining a particular concept. I know that a lot of teachers use my content in the classroom, so I love to assist teachers as well in learning how, if they can get a certain strategy about how to explain something. In terms of how instructors should be, I think the only thing that I would have to say about that is I think all of us know that one particular teacher or professor or instructor that they have had that seems more interested in feeling intelligent and making themselves feel intelligent than they are in conveying information to the student. And that's obviously a very poor way to teach, right? The objective is to convey information from your mind into the minds of the student. And you need to figure out what is the correct combination of words and visuals that will achieve that goal as efficiently as possible. That is your single goal. And that's actually why I like doing science communication more than I liked teaching, because teaching, being a teacher is a job. And with a job comes all kinds of bureaucracy, and you have a boss and you have people telling you what to do. Whereas on my channel, I don't have anybody telling me what to do. So I get to focus on only that. Here is the thing I want to explain. How do I want to explain it? End of story. That's all I need to think about, right? How do I convey this information? So I think that should be really the main priority of anybody who is an instructor of anything.
Wow, amazing. It should be like that. I think professor or a lecturer at university level must be. Some teacher and lecturer find that using online media for teaching is difficult things. Any advice of how to maximize only online based teaching?
How to, like, for somebody who wants to make their own content?
Yes.
So Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I think that a lot of people are daunted. They look at what's on YouTube right now and think that they can't possibly compete. But I think the key is to just kind of start. You know what I mean? If you're interested in making content, making educational content, you kind of have to just start somewhere, do the best you can, and then update as you go. I think that I've improved a lot since I began, and I'm much better and more effective and more accurate and more, more deliberate now than I was even just a couple years ago. So I think that, you can start and then sort of update your equipment as you go, update your abilities as you go. Life is a learning process, and you should never feel discouraged from attempting something just because you think you're not good enough. None of us know how to do anything until we do it. And so you do it and you get better over time. That sort of applies to really anything in life, not just this.
I do agree that everything is depend on ourselves. We have to get started.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, whether you're learning a musical instrument or playing a sport or learning an academic subject or any skill, that's the way you do it. It's just resilience, determination, discipline, time spent. That's how you achieve. That's the only way that you achieve. Talent is a minor ingredient in the recipe for success. It's in there, but it's not the most important one. Yeah.
Yes, I do agree. So, what are kind of online media can we use for science learning so far?
Well, I think that YouTube is the best. I think that YouTube offers the best format for online learning. It's interesting you ask because I have now gotten involved with some other platforms in an official manner. I'm now an official partner with TikTok, and I've been trying to create some content for TikTok. I'm also working with a company in India called Graphy, which will be released in a few weeks, I believe. So I am starting to work with other platforms that are vertical based, right, in portrait mode. So it's a little bit different. And so I'm curious to see how that goes. I know that a lot of other platforms are looking to be in the educational space. Obviously, YouTube is the king of it right now. As to whether it will remain that way, I don't know. I still think it's an excellent format, but there are a lot of platforms out there that want to create educational content, and I've been exploring some of those avenues too, and I'm curious to see what'll happen with them.
Oh yes, YouTube is the best.
I think so. Because it's it just the format, both the visual format as well as I think that the compensation for the creator is very fair because you create content and you upload it to the platform, and then YouTube earns advertising revenue, and then you get 55%. So it is the #2 search engine on the internet after Google. So the exposure, the visibility is enormous. Everybody is on YouTube, and there's a lot of channels. But if you do something that is unique, if you do something that is special, and people care, and people start to notice, and you start to get a lot of views, it actually is a way to earn a living. And I've been earning a living. I was slowly growing the income, but as of about 6 months ago, I pay my rent and bills from YouTube. So it's astounding that I can do this thing and earn as much or more as I did teaching, and I get to just be an entrepreneur, and I get to be creative, and I get to do whatever I want. So I owe everything to YouTube. Definitely, whatever else happens in my life as I explore being more of an author, more of a public figure, and all these other things, it's all based on the platform it's all based on the audience that I gained on YouTube. So I really owe YouTube a lot in that regard.
Yes, I do agree with you. because YouTube, with the YouTube, the content will be seen around the world.
Yes, absolutely. Every country can,
Every
and I guess
country.
I got lucky. I guess I'm very lucky in the regard that I speak English, and English is possibly the most internationally spoken
Yes,
language.
international
If I
language.
spoke, yeah, if I spoke French or something like that, then my audience would be a bit more limited. But I'm very fortunate that so many other countries speak a lot of English in addition to their primary language, such that they are able to watch my content. So that part I'm very fortunate about that. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
right. So can you tell us what are weakness and strengths using online media for science learning?
Weakness and strength. Well, there's a couple ways to go with it. One way is that obviously there's a lot of inaccuracies. I mean, and the degree to which people care about that differs, right? I mean, there are channels that, and I have errors in my videos too. I look back on my general chemistry videos, and there are more errors in there than I would like to admit. And when I recognize that, I try to pin a comment at the top of the page so that people can see, hey, sorry, what said this? I made a mistake, just so you know. But obviously, there are a lot of channels that commit a lot of inaccuracies, and that's bad. It's just such an open platform that it's hard to, you know, be sure that everything you're watching is completely accurate. But then I guess the other way I would go with that is that a lot of platforms just sort of cater to sort of trends in education, and they sort of just give people the content they want rather than challenging them with something a little bit more substantial. So there's a lot of edutainment that sort of masquerades as having a bit more academic value than it really does, which is not the worst thing, because edutainment has its value because it gets people interested in science. But there are certain videos out there that I'll read comments and it says, I learned so much, and I just think, I don't know, could you pass a quiz on this topic? I don't think that you could, based on what was in this video. It's very
Mm.
flashy, and it's very entertaining, but
Oh yeah.
but that's not really that big a deal. On the whole, I'm thrilled that there's interest in science content from people around the world that want to see this on YouTube. So I think it's very promising, especially people in all the countries around the world wanting to learn science, wanting to have careers in science, and contribute to the development of technology and new ideas. It's very invigorating. I'm excited to see what happens in the next couple decades.
No. Okay. Every platform have their weakness and strengths.
Yeah.
So, how can we learn science using online media more effectively?
More effectively. I mean, I suppose it depends on what you are trying to learn. I think using multiple sources is a good idea. I mean, I think that my content is more comprehensive than a lot of other channels, but it is by no means universal. So, I mean, there are. I like to do things in a very rigorously curriculum aligned way. So, for example, if you're on my channel, I encourage people to watch an entire playlist. So, if you want to learn biochemistry, you would watch the biochemistry playlist and you would watch from start to finish, whereas most channels have just sort of one-off videos about a topic or this other topic. However, obviously I do not cover everything, and I think that once you're done with a playlist, if you want to challenge yourself even further, then you could go over to like MIT Open Courseware. If you watch my math videos, but then you want to go a little deeper. So I think that I guess what I'm trying to say is you should challenge yourself, but also be very practical in the way you approach it. Start with where you are and learn what's right in front of you, and build up to the thing. So neither just watch something that's very empty just because it's fun to watch, nor watch something that's way above your comprehension just because you wish you understood it. Sort of recognize where you are, watch as much content about where you are as possible, and then gradually elevate in your comprehension.
Yes. So challenge ourselves to try online media and find the effective way.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how to improve the spirit of learning science, especially through online media? Because when I watch your video, you look really excited to explain.
Oh, it's good to hear, because a lot of people say that I don't. A lot of people say that I'm very monotone and that I'm very obviously just reading the teleprompter, which of course I am reading my script I wrote from a teleprompter like a professional person. But no, I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, I think that is one thing that's actually really great about online media, because it used to be 50 years ago, if you're learning chemistry, you have your chemistry teacher, and if your chemistry teacher is bad or ineffective or unenthusiastic in any way, then that limits your learning experience. Whereas on YouTube, you can find somebody that suits your learning style, and you can find exactly what it is that you need. You know what I mean? You can find somebody that teaches you the way that you want to be taught. And beyond that, so like, for example, I just started a new series called Get to Know a Scientist. So I've done a few episodes where colleagues of mine that I know from the SciComm realm put together little profiles of themselves, and then they send them over to me, and I release them on my channel so that the viewer can literally get to know a scientist. So I've have one from an entomologist, one from a geophysicist, and one from a geneticist. And I'm really passionate about showing people, hey, if you want to be a geneticist, it's like this. This is the type of lab you would work in. This is the equipment that you would use, and this is what you would be doing on a day-to-day basis. Because I think that it's very important to get people excited, not just about learning science, but to understand the practical the practical ramifications of learning science, which is to do science, and all the ways that benefits mankind, and what your role is, what role you can play, what can you do if you become a scientist, what kind of scientist do you want to be, what do you want to study, how do you want to help, what kind of things do you want to help create that benefit mankind. I think that everybody who becomes a scientist kind of has that moment where they say, oh, wow, I went and I looked out of that telescope and I knew that I wanted to be an astronomer or something like that. And so I'm very passionate about trying to provide those moments for people, because I think that we need as many scientists as we can get. And so I would like to do my part in inspiring interest in science. Yeah.
Oh, yes. And the last questions, I think, what are your hope for students about education, which is now even more accessible, especially from your YouTube channel?
Mm-hmm. I hope for empowerment for people. I want people everywhere, no matter what their race or geographical location or economic situation or political affiliation or religious affiliation, everybody benefits from knowledge. And when you learn about a particular subject or a particular group of subjects, you then increase the scope of what it is capable for you to do in life. And I want people to see a body of knowledge and know that it is available to them, right? It's not, there's no gatekeeper. There's nobody preventing you from learning. Whatever you want to learn these days with the internet, you can learn it, and you can take that knowledge and you can apply it, and you can become anything you want, and you can be anyone you want. And that's what knowledge gives you.
Empower ourselves.
Yep.
So thank you for the explanation, Professor De Farina. Next, the question session from the audience will be opened. Please,
Sure.
You can show your face in front of the camera if you want, and then mention your questions. Host of Zoom, please choose participant who wants to ask. You can see in this chat room. I speak in Indonesia ya. Jadi yang mau bertanya silahkan hubungi host Zoom-nya, bertanya, konfirmasi terlebih dahulu, nanti baru bertanya. Silakan. You can ask in Zoom group chat, guys. The format: first, introducing your name and your institutions. While waiting for some questions, Professor Dev, are you at stay at home?
Yes, I'm at home right now, as I have been for about 10 weeks, 11 weeks now.
11
I
weeks.
only get out, yeah, I get maybe once every 2 weeks I go get groceries. But yeah, I've been home. I live in Los Angeles, California. And yeah, just home. I mean, I'm a homebody anyway. So, I mean, I work a lot. I usually work about 70 hours a week. So it actually didn't really change too much for me. It's just that some of the things I liked to do, I can't do at the moment. So that's a little bit tough. But the rest is I just work even harder. I just get even more done, and so that part's good.
Oh, uh, what, in your opinion, approximately when the coronaviruses disappear in this world?
Well, I mean, who's to say that it will ever disappear, right? I mean, I don't know necessarily that will ever disappear. In terms of when it will dissipate, that depends largely on when a vaccine becomes available. So, fingers crossed that'll be available in about 6 months. Might be more. But for now, it depends on each country. It depends on how on the level of social distancing that everybody is able to practice. In America, it's a very strange mixed bag of people who are very, very cautious and people who are very, very reckless. So America is a very chaotic place, and I don't really know what's going to happen here. I think it's almost certain that there will be a second wave here, and probably in a lot of other countries. So I just don't know. I have no idea. Yeah.
I think so. I hope coronaviruses will be disappear as fast as possible.
I agree. Yeah, I miss
I miss
society.
my friends at college.
Yeah, yeah, and I miss going to places. I miss.
Yes,
I
your
will
Mr.
never
Chocolate.
again. Just going to a restaurant and sitting down at a restaurant and having a nice meal at a restaurant. That's probably what I missed the most. I just really love going out to eat, and going to get a couple of drinks with friends and just enjoying a nice time. I very much look forward to doing that whenever, as soon as it's possible. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. The questions comes from Fajar ya. Fajar or Raffi. Oke, Raffi first. Raffi.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Dave and Okta. I would ask to you, Prof, that as a science communicator, right now we face the COVID-19. As the scientist, what should we do to uh, communicate well to regular people or people who doesn't fully literate in science? Uh, with online video, with online meeting, what's your view, Prof? Thank you.
Excellent question. Thank you for the question. It's probably the $1 million question. How do you get people who are not educated in the sciences to understand science? It's very difficult. And you are correct that it falls on the science communicator. This is the job of the science communicator. This is the challenging job of the science communicator. And with COVID in particular, I have tried a little bit. I have made a couple of videos on COVID. The first one was before it really hit, so it didn't age well. But then the second one, I tried to address some conspiracy theories about the virus. And the response was mixed. Some people said, thank you for saying these very commonsensical things. And then I got a lot of people saying, you're a shill and you're lying and this kind of stuff. So it's a very difficult question to answer. I think that we just need as many science communicators as possible to explain scientific facts and principles in as many ways as possible. I myself, my strength is that I'm able to communicate complex concepts very succinctly and clearly, but my weakness is that I'm not the most considerate and empathic person, and I don't always take the time to see the viewpoint of the other person. I know facts, and I know how to explain facts. But when a person is unwilling to hear facts, there's a deeper psychological issue there that needs to be addressed. And that is not my strength. I'm not that good at deciphering the layers of psychology that lead a specific person to their particular set of beliefs that are objectively wrong. Right? When somebody believes things that are objectively wrong, like that the earth is flat or something ridiculous like this, it's a very delicate thing to present them with facts, because it's very well documented that just presenting facts to people cannot always be effective. There will be pushback. So I guess the roundabout way, my answer is that we need as many science communicators as possible to be working on this problem, because every single person is different and they need to be told facts and truths in a particular way. And I know how to do it one way, and I'm going to be effective for certain people, and other people I'm not going to reach, and they need somebody else to explain it to them a different way. So we really need a global task force here. We need science communicators to step up all around the world and help bring the global population to a more educated and more science literate stance. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Dave, for the explanation.
You're very welcome. Yeah.
All right. The next questions comes from Fajar. Fajar. Halo. Fajar ready? Mana dia? Fajar? Nggak ada ya? Oke, yang lain deh. Hilang Fajarnya, guys. Alisa Zahwa Ananda. Halo Alisa. Kecil ya suaranya.
Hello.
Oh ya, oke.
Hello.
Oke, Alisa.
Good morning. My name is Alisa Zawa Ananda. I'm from University of Indonesia. Professor Dave, I want to ask you, how do you choose content that's actually suitable for that time? Because science topic is actually very wide, and like we can just random post thing, right? How do you get the idea which is suitable for post that time, and what would you post and later? Thank you.
Yeah, so I think I understand the question. The way that I go about choosing my content, I began with my expertise. So my expertise is chemistry, and I taught organic chemistry for a long time, so I knew exactly what to do there. Then with general chemistry, again, I had taught that, so I know what topics to cover there. Then as I began to branch outwards, I started with topics that I also had reasonable familiarity with, which was biochemistry and physics. But now, as I go outwards, when I did anatomy and physiology or biopsychology, these are topics that I'm not that familiar with. So I consult syllabi and textbooks, and I try to look at as many sources as possible to figure out what learning objectives absolutely need to be in there. Right? I want to teach the things that everybody is trying to learn. But now, as I'm going outward even further than that, I've actually begun hiring writers. So I'm working. I have a writer that's working on some immunology content. I have one that's working on botany content. I have one that's working on economics. I have one that's working on geology. So I've really started hiring people who have expertise in a particular subject to write the content for me, and I just trust in their ability to know what, say, a Geology 101 course is going to look like for almost everybody around the world, right? Everybody taking, what are the things that everybody learning introductory geology has to know? And it's these set of learning objectives. So I'm transferring a lot of trust onto the writers in that regard. But to speak to myself, when I still do write content, I really try to, the main part is that I download like 100 syllabi. I go on Google and I say pharmacology syllabus, and I download all the PDFs I can, and I look at them and I try to get a sense of like, okay, who the people studying pharmacology are all learning these things. These are the things that I need to explain. So that's sort of my approach. I hope that was the question that you asked. I think it was, but I'm not sure. And you can let me know. Hello?
Oke. Hilang Zahwa. Okay, I think that's clear. And the next questions comes from Mulia Muhammad. Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. Hello, Professor Dev.
Hi.
This is the incredible moment that I can discuss with you, because you are one of my favorite YouTuber. So this is the best time for me. As I know that I'm student in King Fahd University of Petroleum and Mineral in Saudi Arabia. And this is the system of the study between the America and the Saudi is the same based on the course. Different between the other country who has the learning based on research, and this is based on the course, as you know that. And the Saudi Arabia has the same system with the America. And I have some question, because when I want to understanding deeper about the one topic, especially in the organic, because my research is organic, about the natural product. When I want to get the some source for the understanding the one chapter, when I open your YouTube, your video from the YouTube, I cannot find any some of the reference. Maybe I have some suggestion for you, the reference of the knowledge in your YouTube, in your video. Is it right or not? I mean, I cannot find the reference of books. I mean, such as if you want yeah.
You're talking about the difference in curriculum between like America and India, or
no. This is I mean, when I open your video in YouTube,
yeah,
I cannot find the reference of the content. I mean, this is from the Fessenden or from the where of the book of your content.
Oh, you're asking what textbook I'm working out of?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, for organic chemistry, I'm not working out of any textbook. I'm just working out of my knowledge base that has been. So organic chemistry is what I studied and taught.
Yeah.
So that's the only subject on my entire channel that I really know really well. So I don't refer to any textbook. I mean, it's knowledge that I've accumulated from undergrad and then grad school and then teaching. So it's just sort of an accumulation of knowledge. The other stuff, like when I do physics content, I don't know physics as well as I know organic chemistry, so I refer to textbooks. I don't list them. I suppose I could, but I find that there's a tremendous similarity between most textbooks, because you can, when you're teaching physics or when you're teaching Newtonian physics or basic organic chemistry, you can have a difference in style, but you're not going to have a difference in the science. The science is the science. So a wording might be different or a diagram might be different, but facts are facts, you know? And so I haven't taken the approach on my channel as being so rigorous as to cite sources, because, you know, if I say I used Rees Physics 7th edition, I mean, the information is not really any different. I think that citing sources is only tremendously important when you are discussing controversial data or data on the forefront of a field, right? When I say Newton's second law, F equals ma, I don't need to cite a source. It's the second law of Newton's second law of motion. It's universally known, you know. And so when I talk about you know, SN2 reaction, E2 reaction, basic organic chemistry reactions, I don't need to cite a source for that. But if I was ever to talk about dark matter research, right, something that is controversial and our knowledge of it is still developing, then you need to cite a source, because, all right, well, physicists don't all agree. So what, you know what I mean? That's really more the realm. So I think I understand what you mean. But most of my content is on topics, is on such basic information that it doesn't really require any citations. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So all of your content video maybe can touch for the undergraduate, right? Isn't it? Or
yeah, most of my content is for high school or early undergrad. So probably the most advanced content I have on there is organic chemistry, which is learned sophomore year undergrad. You know, I haven't even yet done like latter half of undergrad chemistry topics. It's really freshman, sophomore year chemistry. So nothing on my channel is yet tremendously advanced. We're actually working with somebody on some quantum mechanics content, which I don't know about. He writes the scripts. So that is a bit more advanced, and I'm hoping it goes well so that I can keep doing. I would love to do a very advanced topics, but I haven't yet, mainly because I do not possess that specialized knowledge in any realm except for organic chemistry. But even organic chemistry, I haven't really gone, like I haven't done any tutorials on what I learned in the latter half of my undergrad. I really just stick to more basic organic stuff that I personally taught in the classroom, you know.
Oh, okay. And can you give us some suggestion how to make the scheme for make the conclusion in one topic?
The conclusion? How do you mean?
I mean the skin. This is can make us easier to some notes from in one topic. The strategy.
Like how to summarize.
Yeah, how to summarize easier about the chemistry.
Well, it's a tough question. I mean, when I look at a topic, I try to do my best to recognize what is very important information and what is a bit tangential information, and I try to remove. When I explain a topic, I want to explain only the core of it first. I want to explain what an SN2 mechanism is and what an E2 mechanism is before I start to go, okay, here are some reagents. What's going to happen? Is it going to be, or special cases, or, what is extraneous information at first? I think it's important to recognize that knowledge is gained in tiers. You get a foundational knowledge first, and then you learn the exceptions to what you just learned, and then you learn some slightly, you know what I mean? It's a very sequential process of learning basic information and then getting a more sophisticated version of that information sequentially. When you learn general chemistry in high school, it's watered down, and then you learn general chemistry again in college, and it's more sophisticated, right? It's the same topics again, just with more depth. And I think that that's really how many subjects are. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What do you think about which one is the better, study in conventional class or the online class like here, like this one? Which one is better?
Well, if you're a student, you have an obligation to the class that you're taking, and you want to perform well in that class. So I provide tutorials that can be tools that hopefully are useful to you, and you should use them however you see fit. You know what I mean? If you're taking organic chemistry and you're learning about Diels-Alder reaction, and you watch my tutorial on Diels-Alder reaction, and then you really understand it, then you take that fundamental understanding and then you bring it to your class and apply it to what you're learning there, because maybe there are examples or a level of depth in your classroom that I didn't touch. But the point is, now you really understand what the Diels-Alder reaction is, and now you can put the additional information on top because you have a very strong foundation. So I think look to online learning to help you with those light bulb moments that give you that strong foundation. But then the very specific details, you obviously have to cater to what's going on in your classroom, because I'm not giving you a grade. I'm not giving you a degree, right? Your institution is giving you your degree. And so you have to operate in accordance with their expectations.
Oh,
Okay.
Thank you for your advice, Professor. Thank you very much.
Very welcome. Yeah. Thanks for the questions.
Yes.
Thank you for the questions, Mulia Muhammad. And then the question asked by the participant were very interesting, but I choose the question randomly now. I choose two more question from the participants. Salsa, halo, ready? Atau Kak Sahrul, silahkan.
Okay.
Oh, Salsa udah ya?
Thank you for terima kasih udah.
Okay.
So hello Professor, I'm so glad that I can be here in Zoom with you. My name is Rika, and I have some questions to you. The first thing is about science communication. Because since you are a science communicator, so I'd like to know how does your view about science communication, and could you give us some advice to start being a beginner science communicator? Because sometimes I'm confused. Which first as your priority to catch people to watch your videos, or to create content?
Salsa, Can you make it louder?
I think I'm hearing, but
Okay, that's fine.
yep.
Your first priority to catch people or to create good content with a good explanation and important information. And the second question is because I have watched some of your videos and some of your channels, I see that you are master in nearly everything like chemistry, physics, math, and even music. So I'd like to know how did you learn all of that, and could you share with us how does your trick in learning many things? Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll start with the second one. The secret is that I'm not a master at everything, but I mean, I learned chemistry, and for my chemistry degree, I also learned some biochemistry and some physics and some math. And so that was, you know, that's where my knowledge in that realm comes from. But now, as I move into other topics, I'm just sort of teaching myself out of a textbook, and I have no, you know, with anatomy and physiology, I have no prior knowledge of anatomy and physiology. It's simply that because I have a foundational knowledge, I can sort of compartmentalize new information as I learn it. So I never learned any anatomy and physiology, but I learned other science that this breaks down to into biology and biochemistry. So it makes sense quickly, and I just work very hard. I just work very hard at reading and you know, trying to apply information. But also now I am hiring writers. So as you see new topics coming out over the next year or two, it's actually not even me writing it. I hire people who are PhDs or getting their PhD in, say, immunology or something like that. As to the music, again, I started playing the piano at age 8, and I played an hour a day for a decade, and so that explains why I'm able to do that. So I did grow up as a musician. So, but that's about it. It's really just a couple areas of science, obviously chemistry, a little bit of some adjacent fields, and then I am a musician. So that's really just a bit of a narrow skill set. I'm not really good at anything else. And then I think your first question was about getting into science communication. And again, I can't encourage people enough. I think that if you are interested in being a science communicator, it's an incredible thing. It's an incredible field that is just now emerging. In fact, when I started my YouTube channel, I did not know that I was a science communicator. About a year or two into it, somebody told me, "Hey, you as a science communicator," and I said, "I've never heard that term before." But you're right. That's exactly what I am. I started to understand that because of the nature of human civilization and because of the nature of where we are with the information revolution and the internet and how much information is on the internet and how we are all on the internet and how misinformation spreads on the internet, this new field is emerging of the science communicator, of an entire field, an entire large community of people whose job it is to be the middleman between scientists and the general public, because scientists are busy doing science, but the general public needs to know what's going on. We need people such as myself and many of my colleagues and many people, new people that are coming to the field, who want to devote their lives and their careers to doing nothing but explaining science that scientists do to the public. And that's something that I'm very passionate about. I've been inspired by people like Carl Sagan and other figures. And I think that anybody who wants to be a science communicator, as I was saying earlier with the online content, you just start. And whether it's about Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, or you can be a science journalist, you can have a blog and you can write essays, you kind of just have to start. And then things materialize as you go. When I started my YouTube channel, I had no idea where I would be later. But 5 years later, I'm now beginning to give talks publicly. As I said, I just finished writing a book that will be out in December. I'm gearing up to be more of a public figure. And this sort of evolved over time. So you have no way of knowing how your expertise is going to evolve and what kind of person you're going to become. You just have to recognize your passions and recognize what you think you can do to contribute to society, where your skill set lies, and just do what you can every day. And if that's making a YouTube video or you know, writing a blog or anything else, you just do it, and then be open to new possibilities as they arise.
Okay, Salsa. Down. All right, I think that's clear. Salsa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, actually, there are still 8 more questions left. This talk show is very lively beyond my expectations. But and the last question I choose comes from Salsabila Lutfia. Say thank you for you, Professor Dave.
You're welcome.
In the chat. Okay. Yolanda Nadim Muksin ada? Gak ada. Okay, please show your face or you can say tolong unmute Nadim. Host, please unmute Nadim.
Sudah saya unmute, Kak.
Udah. Nggak bisa, Nadim. Oke. Oke, yang lain saja ya. Yang sudah. Niva. Halo. There's no answer from here. Okay, better I just talk to you. What is the question? Comes from Niva from State University of Jakarta. As a student of university, we usually have a chemistry book as a reference for study, especially by reading a book. The topics that we read is more complete and it's actually prevent us from any misconception which had been spread on us since we were in high school. So what she wants us is, what do you think about reading all of those textbook? Just deal with it, just read all of those book, or you have some tips for making it seems more easier?
Yeah, so I think that this is the main reason that online learning has been so successful, is because textbook learning is difficult, right? It can be a bit boring, and the explanations. I mean, look, a textbook is usually very accurate, and it is usually very comprehensive. And if you're the kind of person that can sit there and just read a textbook and learn a subject that way, that's great, and more power to you. But I think that what people are, I think that the way that online learning is being used is, let's say you're reading your chemistry textbook and you come across, ideal gases, or I don't know, there's a topic and you're reading it and it's a little too dense. The way that it is worded in the textbook is a little too dense, and you think, I'm not quite getting this. And then you go online and you find my channel or one of other many channels that explain these topics, and here's a video that has condensed that topic down into just a couple of minutes, just the main points. And then you say, oh, I understand these main ideas, and I understand in a fundamental way, I comprehend the topic. Then you go back to your textbook, and now it's not so confusing because you have that fundamental understanding, and then all the extra details can sit on top because you have that foundation. So you do want to, I mean, it is great to have a textbook to refer to because, as I said, it's largely very accurate and largely very comprehensive. And so that should be the body of knowledge that you should strive for, more so than just thinking that if you watched my whole playlist that you know everything about that topic. I didn't hit everything. I try to hit as much as I can, but it's a combination. And honestly, that's a good metaphor for life. You know, when you read something or if you see something, you don't just take one source, right? Try to use a variety of sources to get a more comprehensive worldview. So use your textbook, use online learning, use your teacher and their expertise, right? Use all of these things to develop a comprehensive understanding of the subject material.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Dev Farina, and
You're very
all
welcome.
of participants. Being able to talk with you, Professor Dev, is an amazing opportunity, and I will never forget this moment. Hopefully, we can meet again at another event. We, as prospective educators, know that online media can be made easily for learning science. I thought we were at the end of the event. I am Octavian Nortanto as the moderator. See you next time. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, now, okay, please, Ferdi, come in. Oh yeah, to all participants, please stay tuned till the final of event because the committee will hold a photo session together.
Okay, I'm going to sign off here. Bye, guys.
Ferdi, please come in. Wait a second. Oh ya udah.
Okay, everyone. Now, I will tell you the result of our event today. First, we can use online media to study science like YouTube, which has an educational channel, and other applications such as Zoom for scientific discussion with someone who is an expert in his field, like today. Of course, all media have their advantage and disadvantage, and each person has a different way of understanding. There are people who understand learning through online media, such as illustration and explanation on YouTube. But there are also those who need to practice it directly. Of course, some of its weaknesses are like signal interference and quote issues, for example. We must choose a learning method that makes us comfortable so we can understand the material. Before that, we must use understanding ourselves first. Whether we are the type of person who is visual, audio, or audiovisual. After that, we can determine the learning method. YouTube is one example, the best online media. And always remember that practice makes us able and repeat makes perfect. Thus, our program today, thanks to Prof. Dev as our guest speaker and Mr. Okta as our moderator. Thank you to the participants for participating in this event. See you at the next online scientific discussion. Stay healthy and always stay at home. I'm Ferdi Virgautama as the Master of Ceremony. Say goodbye to resign. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Oke, semuanya. Profesor Devi udah pergi ternyata. Mungkin dia ada kegiatan habis ini. Untuk dokumentasi, tolong show up your face in front of the camera. Kita mau ambil foto bersama dulu. Oke, siap ya. Tolong diambil gambarnya, host atau dokumentasi lah, whatever. Ya, 1. Oh, banyak sekali. Kita dulu, saya hitung ya. Oke. Nih, kita dulu. 2 lagi. Udahlah, ini. Oke. 1, 2, 3. Nah, geser di slide berikutnya ada lagi nggak dia? Oke, lagi ya. 1, 2, 3. 2 kali lagi. 1, 2, 3. And the last one, terakhir. Ya, 1, 2, 3. Oke, thank you for all participant. Terima kasih buat teman-teman semuanya yang udah hadir, yang sudah masuk join Zoom pada hari ini. Semoga semuanya sehat selalu, stay at home. Ya, terima kasih untuk sains. Ya, oke. Goodbye.
Bye, makasih Kak Okta dan teman-teman
Sama-sama ya.
semuanya.
Terima kasih teman-teman.
Stay safe.
Semoga apa yang disampaikan oleh Profesor Dev bermanfaat dan dapat kita ambil.